The war had ended, but its scars remained. Entire planets were reduced to ash, cities to rubble, and even the survivors carried wounds far deeper than flesh. The peace accords between Earth and the Zalari Empire had brought stability, but the tension remained palpable. One mistake, one misunderstanding, could ignite the galaxy again. Captain Elias Vance had seen too much of that war. A decorated soldier of Earth's Defense Corps, he retired early, his medal collecting dust in the box while the echoes of battles haunted his dreams. Seeking quiet, he accepted an assignment as civilian liaison on the neutral trade world of Drassel, where dozens of species mingle beneath shimmering towers and sprawling markets. It was supposed to be safe. It was supposed to be quiet. That illusion shattered the moment he saw her. The alien woman stood in the center of the market plaza, her tall frame draped in a cloak of black and silver. The crowd parted around her as though she carried a plague. Merchants hushed. Children were pulled away by trembling parents. Guards stiffened at her May presence. Even among species known for their fierceness, her presence was suffocating. Her skin shimmered with faint bioluminescence, pale blue patterns glowing like shifting constellations across her arms and neck. Her eyes, enormous, luminous amber, seemed to pierce through flesh and bone, and her claws, retractable yet visible, curved like blades that could shear through steel. She was Zalari. Worse still, she was one of them, the Ascended. During the war, the Ascended had been nightmare legends, enhanced warriors bred to fight entire platoons by themselves. People whispered that one Ascended could level a battalion before they broke a sweat. Most of them had vanished after the war, but the galaxy had not forgotten. The alien woman reached for a vendor's produce, but the trembling merchant dropped his wares and scurried away. All eyes followed her, filled with suspicion, dread, and loathing. Elias alone did not move. He recognized the look in her eyes, not the predator's hunger, but the hollow weight of isolation. He remembered wearing that same expression after the battles ended, when everyone celebrated peace while he silently drowned in guilt. He stepped forward. Her head snapped toward him, amber eyes narrowing, voice like steel on glass as she hissed. "Everyone is afraid of me, but why aren't you afraid of me, human?" "The beginning. I've seen worse," Elias said plainly. The crowd gasped, whispering, certain the human had lost his mind. The alien's claws twitched as if she might strike, but she didn't. Instead, her brow furrowed, her lips parting in something between confusion and disbelief. "Worse," she echoed. Elias shrugged, lifting an apple from the ground where the vendor had dropped it and offering it to her. Worse than a hungry woman trying to buy food. For the first time, her amber eyes widened, not in menace, but in shock. No one had ever spoken to her so casually. She reached out, hesitantly, as if expecting a trick, and took the apple. Her fingers brushed his hand, the faint bioluminescence of her skin leaving a ghostly shimmer against his callous flesh. "You are not afraid," she whispered, more to herself than to him. Elias smiled faintly. "Should I be?" The crowd dispersed reluctantly, disappointed there was no violence. The alien studied him with an intensity that would have made anyone else's knees buckle. "Finally," she said, "my name is Seraph." The middle. Elias learned quickly that Serapha's presence in Drassel was no accident. She had been exiled from the Zalari Empire, her kind deemed too dangerous to live among their own. For years she drifted from world to world, never welcomed, always feared. Even now, rumors painted her as a murderer, a weapon of mass destruction hiding in plain sight. But Elias saw past whispers. He spent time with her, meeting in quiet corners of the city where her presence drew fewer stays. They spoke of the war, her battles, his scars. Though their sides had once clashed, they found common ground in the shared weight of bloodshed. "You think I chose what I am," she said one night as they sat on the rooftop of an abandoned tower, gazing at the twin moons. "I was made for war before I was born. My strength, My claws, my senses, none of it was mine to decide. And yet here you are, Elias replied. You didn't choose your creation, but you can choose what you do with it. She turned her luminous gaze on him. And what do you think I should do, human, when the galaxy trembles at my shadow? Live, he said simply. For the first time since he met her, she laughed. The sound was strange, melodic yet edged with something wild. But their fragile peace was not to last. One evening, mercenaries hired by fearful traders ambushed Sereth in the alleys of Drassel. They thought killing her would rid the market of its dread. They never expected Elias to stand between them. You're insane, Sarah snarled as she fought beside him, claws flashing like silver lightning. Maybe, Elias grunted, firing his pulse rifle into the shadows. But I'm not letting them take you down. Together, they defeated the mercenaries, but the attack ignited the city's paranoia. Authorities declared Sarah the threat to public safety and issued an order for her capture. Go, Elias urged when soldiers surrounded the district. I'll buy you time. But Sereth refused. Her amber eyes glowed fiercely as she pulled him close. You were not afraid of me when no one else dared approach. I will not abandon you now. The ending. Their escape was harrowing. Together, they fled through neon-lit streets, pursued by drones and soldiers. Elias's body ached from old wounds, but Sereth shielded him, taking blasts that would have incinerated him. Her resilience was inhuman, but even she faltered beneath the relentless fire. Cornered at the city's edge, with nowhere left to run, Elias prepared to make a final stand. But Sereth stepped in front of him, her bioluminescence flaring brighter than ever before. You are the first to see me as more than a weapon, she said softly. If this is where it ends, then let it be beside the only human who was never afraid. Before the soldiers could strike, the ground rumbled. A Zalari warship descended, its insignia gleaming in the night sky. To Elias's shock, Sereth's kin had come, not to capture her, but to reclaim her. A transmission blared across the battlefield. Sereth, by decree of the Empress, your exile is ended. Return home. The soldiers of Drassel, realizing they stood against the Zalari Empire, withdrew in silence. The city was spared bloodshed, and Sereth's name was cleared. When it was over, Sereth turned to Elias. Her eyes, once sharp and cold, now glowed with something warmer. You gave me more than safety, she said. You gave me a reason to believe I could be more than fair. Elias chuckled, though exhaustion tugged at him. And you gave me a reason to believe peace is possible, even for us. As the warship's ramp lowered, Sereth hesitated. She could return to her people, reclaim her honor, vanish into the stars. But instead, she extended her clawed hand toward Elias. Come with me, human. The galaxy will still fear me, but with you beside me, I will never walk alone. He stared at her hand, scarred and luminous, then took it without hesitation. The crowd that once fled from her watched in stunned silence as a feared alien woman and the unafraid human ascended the ramp together. For the first time in her life, Sarah smiled.